Dad started off unemployed by declaring interest in both the Leipzig job and the Bayern Munich job to try and rattle the boat a bit. Meanwhile, I was joining him in unemployment as I resigned from the Inter Milan role after completing Italy. But this could have been a big mistake, because look who took my job at Inter Milan, which left an obvious vacancy for Dad to apply for. I guess he's kind of getting the luck that I had in earlier seasons, as he's asked for an interview in Munich. And third time's a charm, he's now the manager of Bayern Munich. Meanwhile, the Bundesliga champions Stuttgart are offering me an interview after their manager went to Napoli. But the Euros threw up plenty more jobs, which makes things very interesting. A Euros that was won by Belgium, who beat Spain in the final, who also won the World Cup and then offered me to take over as their manager, as well as a few other nations who are managers right now. So Dad, you got the job that you tried to go for 3 times, turned down them once, got turned down twice, I think. Now you go there.
I mean, last season I was unlucky. I got sacked and I was disappointed I did. But now I'm chuffed to bits I did get sacked, because there's opportunities come forward. This is the opportunity I really wanted now, isn't it?
Talk about landing on your feet, right?
Oh, just about. Oh.
Meanwhile, I don't have anything going on. I'm just waiting on holiday for nothing, really. So,
even better for me.
Really frustrated, if I'm honest. There was the Euros. All those jobs become available. Not one club job become available because of that, other than Leeds. And then they took on a job that was the ex-Italian manager anyway. So there was no manager merry-go-round whatsoever. I was really frustrated with that, to be honest. Okay.
Well, the only job that you was trying to get, really, was the Leipzig job, wasn't it?
Is insecure for ages.
Until I lost against them.
Yeah. So you done me dirty, really.
I've done myself a big favour by losing to them, didn't I?
You did, yeah. And hopefully that costs you throughout the season. If they come on and win the league, I'll be absolutely crying with laughter. But yeah, they're in Europa League. I could have done with that. You had a busy transfer window, Dad.
Yeah.
You spent £327 million. You sold 196 players that you sold. You guys might not be aware of, but there was a couple that was one that went to Inter Milan, so my old club. There's a winger there you didn't really need. Yeah, there's just a few different players that were.
I had quite a few wingers, didn't I? And I'm only going to play a formation with one winger, so
yeah.
I got rid of the other wingers I didn't really need.
So let's have a look at the players you did bring in. You've got this guy, Matthias Zuniga.
Yeah. They were quite weak at the back, I felt. So.
Yeah, so he's a good centre back. You can also play right back.
Yeah.
But he is left-footed, so
yeah, we thought that was weird.
Puzzled. Yeah, that was puzzling. Marco Nepa, who played. You bought 3 players from our old club, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
On the third time, they were like, "Go away."
Yeah.
But you still did it. Centre midfielder.
Yeah.
Italian.
Both positions, so I'm just strengthening the midfield up. So
good player there.
Yeah.
And then 2 players we remember very well. Coyote at right back. You haven't played a game for him yet. He's been injured twice.
He keeps getting injured, this guy, doesn't he? So a bit disappointed with that, but he'll come good for me in a minute.
Which was 45 up to £50 million. And then Camavinga.
Yeah.
For 75 for a 33-year-old.
Well, I bought him for a midfield position, didn't I? But then he just slotted into my left back left.
Yeah, I don't think you have a very good left back.
No, I didn't. So I thought, well, all right, I'll leave him there then. So he'll do me all right there.
And then finally, the Chilean centre-back that I really enjoyed being manager of, Roberto Paredes.
Yeah, this has just made my defence absolutely solid now, I think.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
£115 million. They paid 13 2 seasons ago. Well done for Inter Milan. You can see why they're rich now.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
They've made a mug of you there.
Well, they bought one of my players as well, didn't they?
They did, yeah. So tactically, you've gone down this route. You've gone for kind of like a 4-2-2, but 1 central, 1 out on the left there. Coyote, as we say, has been injured, so he hasn't played yet. But the rest of the team looks like that. And as we say, the Camavinga deal is because you haven't really got a backup left back.
No.
So Camavinga slots in there. You've got a couple of players who can play there. But this guy's quite good. He was already at the club for you, wasn't he? He was very good.
Really
Belgian
good,
winger. You were trying to sell Yeremy Pino.
Yeah.
No luck whatsoever, and he's on his last year of his contract.
I know, that's a bit of worrying, really, because he's valued at 15 million, so I'm going to lose him next season, but hopefully I won't be there next season. So.
Wow, yeah, that's the gamble you take, I guess. Musiala's obviously been their key player for better part of 15 years now.
What a player to have in that position.
Yeah. Matisse Tell being the same as well. Another player who...
I'm in my strike force. I just
31.
can't touch him, so I just hope they just do the business for me.
I mean, Shirazzi's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Look at that. 19 composure and off the ball. Incredible player, and he's German, 25, come through the youth academy. So
yeah, even better.
One of our own, as they would chant from the crowd. So yeah, that's what the lineup looks like. That's the tactic.
Yeah.
Schedule-wise, Dad has had a weird one. He's through the next round of the cup. He lost to Leipzig, and then he beat Heidenheim 8-0 and Frankfurt 2-0.
Yeah. I mean, for the ones out there that might say, I fixed that game with the Leipzig game, I really didn't. I really did want to beat them.
Got done 1-0.
Yeah. I mean, it done me a favour because then the manager was secure after that, but I really did want to win that game.
You've got a couple of old clubs that we've got to face in the Champions League. Well,
Real Madrid, so I've got quite a few players going back to Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Newcastle team.
Newcastle, which is my old side there. So, yeah,
it's not an easy draw, really, because I've got Man City as well in there.
No, and Dortmund.
Yeah.
So, got to be a difficult one.
But then I'm not chasing. I'm not chasing the Champions League. No,
not at all. Your next cup game is against Greuther Fürth. You like Man City, just getting all the easy ties all the way through.
I'll take it, mate. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You can say what you want. I'll take it.
But, what do I be doing? Well, I just got to be waiting, I guess, for either a good enough English team for that FA Cup or somebody that's in the Europa League. And if a job comes up that's in the Europa League while we are going throughout the season, and I think, well, I can jump there and possibly win it in a one season, that's what I've got to do.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll come back if or when I find that job. However, nothing appealing ever came up. It took until January, but finally, an interesting job came up. I was even favourite for the vacancy. However, they placed an interim manager in charge, meaning I couldn't apply for the role at Spurs. And Dad finally being at Bayern Munich wasn't going as good as what you'd expect it to begin with. By January, though, he had salvaged a poor start in the league and climbed back to the top spot. But of course, he is also chasing the German Cup, and that was a lot harder than he thought it would be as well. It took until the end of the season, but there's a vacancy I have finally applied for. Back to a place I had success with in the past too. I can't believe we got to the end of the season, Dad, and I've only just found a job that I can actually apply for.
Yeah, you were chasing the Spurs job, weren't you? That just didn't come up, did it?
No.
I was a bit worried because if you'd got that job, you could have
caused something.
Yeah, definitely gone for the FA Cup at the time.
They might still come up, and because of the registration in terms of the qualification, in terms of the Champions League, they might get a Europa League spot. But I think it would only be a Europa Conference League spot,
probably,
because
everybody
Aston Villa
will
will bump up.
Yeah,
which is a shame. But yeah, right now Morgan Davidson is an interim manager, and you just simply I could not apply for it.
No,
at
you
all.
was favourite as well.
1 to 16 favourite, which is almost like, he's got the job.
They had a hell of a budget for you as well for the January transfer window as well, didn't they? So
they've only got 192 now, so he spent a little bit. He spent £44 million in February. But yeah, I mean, I was so annoyed with that because at the time, obviously, they would have still been in the FA Cup. They didn't have Europa League football. They were in the Champions League. But they've made the Champions League final.
So they were a good side.
Incredible.
So that's good for pushing all the teams up because there's 2 English teams in the final.
Yeah, but that's true, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he would he just drop into Europa League from it? I don't know. I honestly don't know how that qualification works. But the Newcastle job is an interesting one as well. They only finished a point behind. Their former manager, one that we've been around quite a lot, is Pochettino. He's sacked after 2 cup wins. Both were one was the Carabao Cup, to be fair. They have still got quite a lot of players from when I was the manager, all the way back then. So in 2026, so 11 years ago, they still got players that I bought, which is mental, really, when you think about it. But they've got Oscar Rada, that striker that we mentioned. He's still there and still available and still looks incredible. They got Garnacho, who I think was there, but he's looking like he wants to leave. Ousmane Diamonde, who I bought, I think, for Newcastle. They still got some incredible players. So
put it this way, they've got a good enough side to win the FA Cup.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're there for, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and hopefully just slip straight into Europa League.
Oh, I'd be so jammed if you do.
That would be great. They have £125 million in the transfer budget, so I have applied. Haven't had anything back yet. I've literally just applied because the manager has only been sacked when? The 19th, so 5 days before that. So it hasn't been too long since that's happened. Maybe I get the job, maybe not. I'm hoping the Spurs job comes up as well.
Yeah.
And then I've got the choice then. Go into which one. I can pick and choose which team I want. Obviously, England is my preferred destination because of the FA Cup. However, if something comes up where they've landed in Europa League spot throughout the summer, maybe, or at the
Yeah.
end of the season, maybe
Yeah.
I'll do that. But before we have a look at other jobs and their situations, Dad, you had a free crack this year.
Well, it was a Brucey bonus for me, really. You doing absolutely nothing, so I had a chance of just being clearing up. So
Yeah. We know you didn't win the Champions League.
I had a good enough side. I won't worry about that. Was I had a good enough side to do it all. So, fingers crossed.
Did you do it? Well, won the league.
Won the league, yeah.
79 points.
I had a bad start as well. I was getting a bit worried because obviously we were coming back all the time, weren't we?
Yeah.
To find you a job, and all the time I'm looking at seeing how I'm getting on, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get sacked. I'm gonna get sacked in a minute. I started getting worried, and all of a sudden it just kicked in, and I started playing really well then.
Scored 102 goals eventually. Only lost 5 games.
Yeah.
Had a great time. 79 points. So it looked comfortably.
Yeah.
In the end, Matisse Tell was the top scorer. He also had the highest average rating. Shiratsi, I was surprised, was nowhere near.
Yeah.
He got 11 assists though, so he was up there. And Dennis Seaman had the same amount of clean sheets as Nico Mantle. So you won the league. That's one trophy to add to your Glory Hunter cabinet that you've been trying to get.
Half the job.
But in this season, did you really capitalise and win the cup?
I'm too gutted.
Yes.
I so wanted to do it. If I can, I'll just say this, if I can get both done without you doing absolutely nothing, I'm applying for the same jobs as you then.
Yeah.
For the Europa League, and anybody that's in the Europa League, bang, I'm in. But no, I'm here for another season. I've got a good enough team to do it, so I'm here for another season. The way it goes, isn't it?
Quarter-final by Augsburg, who are in the relegation zone because they're in the relegation playoff, and the finals to be played from Leipzig and Kaiserslautern.
I mean, now you look at it now, we're in identical position now.
Yeah,
We need a cup.
One cup.
And the Europa League.
Yeah, but you're in a club which is most likely to win that cup.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a cup which has been cursed from
So
about 8 seasons.
So the thing's just turned
The
again.
pendulum again.
It's just turned in my favour this time.
Yeah, the
I'm
only
now
way
the
I would
favourite.
say I'm slightly favourite is if I pick up a team that can't finish in a Champions League spot.
No.
And I just slip into that Europa League. It
Yeah,
all
that's right,
depends
yeah.
how I do in that season. Now, Leipzig is an interesting one because at the start of the season,
That was the
I was
team
desperate
you really,
for them to come in, yeah.
One, you could muck about with me, couldn't you? And
Yeah.
mess my chances up. But they were in the Europa League.
they were in the Europa League.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, their manager, Thomas Tuchel, kept his job. And they went on, and the other team was Manchester United. That was the other team I was tracking because they had an insecurity last year, never sacked him. Or did Kieran McKenna take over when I was at Inter Milan, I think? Something like that anyway.
But they were in the Europa League
They
spot
were in
as
Europa
well,
League spot.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, Europa League, FA Cup, that would be perfect for Manchester United. Never came up. Thomas Tuchel was the other one that I was hoping would get sacked. They got to the Europa League final against Manchester United, and Manchester United won the FA Cup, or won the Europa League final in the 93rd minute as well. However, more butterfly effects because Manchester United I could have cracked out both. They have just won the FA Cup final against Brentford, so they won both the competitions I'm seeking to get.
Yeah. The beginning of the season, they just teased you,
Yeah.
and then snatched it away.
Oh, so annoying. He was under threat, I think, but he's been there for a year and 320 days. So it was while I was at when I took the Inter Milan job was when the Manchester United job came up, which I don't regret doing because Inter Milan that one season was fantastic for me. Perfect,
if you
in
can-
and out.
Yeah,
Boom,
if you can
gone.
drop into one country and do business and out again.
Yeah.
I nearly done it with Bayern, so I've got to be there for another season. But
Yeah, so let's have a look at the situation again. Currently, the Newcastle job I have applied for. The other jobs available right now, I have no interest in. Even Leon down in 8th place, no interest in going there whatsoever. But if you go on job security, is there any other insecure jobs? Now, we've got Marco Rose at Valencia, who finished in 6th place. 6th place could drop into a Europa League spot, especially because there's one game left to play, so it might not have fulfilled all the stuff that they need to. Could be Europa League qualification.
Yep.
If his job becomes available, that's another tempting one, I guess.
not a bad side.
With this Valencia team. They got a good club, Brighton. They got £37 million in the transfer budget. The key players are not amazing, but this guy will definitely get you goals. So there's some options in there. There are some options in there. And then, of course, if I don't get one of these jobs, who knows what's going to happen with the Spurs manager? Will something else come available? We're not quite sure. But the Premier League is a destination I really hope I get. As it looks like, obviously, Manchester United, despite finishing in Europa League spot, qualifying for the Champions League. Now, I would probably suggest that England are going to get another Champions League spot. They usually do.
Yeah.
Which means Liverpool finishing in 4th place probably won't be in Europa League, which is a shame. But yeah, who knows whether it jumps down one. Maybe Aston Villa's in it. I don't really know right now. But Newcastle currently have the top scorer of the league as well, which is interesting. And then Tottenham have the 3rd place one. So Newcastle looks like it could be my destination to go back to, which is quite funny, all the way back from season 3.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah.
But, Dad, you've got a trophy to add to your trophy cabinet, but there's only one. As expected, Dad picked up the Bundesliga this season to add to his trophy cabinet. However, that only ties things up with 2 trophies left, and could this Newcastle job even the playing field as we go into season number 15?